Hey, Hugh Taylor here, coming at you from my messy home office once again to talk about an issue that comes up in an increasing number of the conversations with people who may want to work with me, and that is that they want social proof. They say, I want a press release, I want media coverage as social proof for what the thing that I'm doing. So I thought it would be useful to talk about social proof, what it is, why it matters, and how press releases and PR can help, along with some limitations on how they can help, because I think it's always important to understand what's possible and what may not be possible in something like this. So, social proof is, as you might think, it's one of those terms where you kind of know what it means, but maybe you're not completely correct. And it's funny, I actually have to look it up because I wasn't entirely sure I had it right. But people want social proof as a validation of their services or their product or even themselves, people who, are speakers or coaches, whatever they want, the press to cover them so that it'll prove somehow that they are legitimate and worthwhile. And this is obviously a very good thing if you can achieve it, but it can be a little tricky to achieve for a number of reasons. So just quickly, and I'm going to read, this is a little bit of a lot of words for a video, but I just want to read through this. This is from a site called Embed Social, which offers social influencer services and related kind of advisory. It says social proof is a psychological phenomenon. Okay, keep that in mind. That indicates that customers form opinions and make decisions based on other people's actions. It's a form of referral marketing where social media influencers, industry experts, or actual customers create social proof to help you gain new customers. So this is a useful definition. It's kind of a fancy way of saying a lot of customers will buy when they see other people buying, or especially people who they respect. This is a big thing behind like celebrity endorsements and social influencers. If Kim Kardashian is buying a pair of shoes, then boy, maybe you should consider those shoes yourself. That's what social proof is all about. So one thing to keep in mind, and it's kind of a bigger topic than anything that beyond social media. Social proof is not necessarily a positive thing. Wikipedia has an interesting comment. So social proof is used in ambiguous social situations where people are unable to determine the appropriate mode of behavior and is driven by assumptions that the surrounding people possess more knowledge about the current situation. Now, I think this is a familiar idea for a lot of people. There are some people who are just supremely confident and know what to do in any situation, but I think most of us have found ourselves in gatherings or events or shopping experiences where you're just really not sure what people do. So you're looking around like, what is everyone else doing? Maybe I'll do that. And there's a negative side to this. It could be called conformism. This has been researched all the way back to the 1930s. It's sometimes called herd behavior, conformism. It's even, unfortunately, an idea that comes up when people talk about so-called copycat suicides. Someone kills himself and maybe that person has some influence over other people and they conclude, maybe I should kill myself too, unfortunately. And this is why social proof can be a tricky thing to get at. You're getting, it's okay, it's about getting someone to endorse your product in the press or whatever, but it's really a much deeper human psychological phenomenon. Now, of course, social proof matters in business because, and this is something that you learn when you study marketing, or hopefully you study it and learn about this, is that when you think about why do people buy things from a certain store or place, or why does someone buy a book, or why does someone, go to a speech or whatever, one of the underlying things is confidence. People tend to buy from sources they have confidence in. Like you buy a Toyota because you're confident that it's a good car, just as an example, right? You shop at a certain supermarket because you're confident that they have good prices. You're confident that they'll accept a return if you don't like something. confidence. If you lack confidence, if you've never heard of this place before, you've never shopped there before, you don't know anybody who shopped there before, you don't like the look of the place, you lack confidence. So how do you overcome that? And that's if you think about doing business on the internet, that's almost every situation, unless you're like, Amazon or something, you're probably an unknown quantity. And I deal with this myself. People come to commsfactory.net and they're like, who the hell is this, right? Some website that says they're going to write a press release. How do I know? Okay, how do I know that I'm going to get a press release when I pay my money here? People automatically lack confidence. And as I said, this is like kind of a human psychological phenomenon. What is driving this? So people who are trying to sell look for social proof, okay? For example, all the right people think this is the correct thing to buy, so I feel confident I'm going to make a good choice, So can I get someone influential or even just someone credible? Can I get a person who looks, who's like an average person who shops at this place to say that it's good? And it's very helpful in the internet age because we're all sort of scrambling around trying to establish that we're for real and that you should be confident in buying from us. And that's what social proof is, okay? And the reason it can be hard to get social proof is, and it's never been easy, that's the truth, but it's gotten harder because we're kind of in noisy marketplaces. Anything that you're doing, there's probably a lot of other people doing it. How do you differentiate? How do you build confidence in potential buyers, better than someone else? We have crowded media spaces. There's pressure on established outlets. In an environment where people lack confidence and are confused about what to buy, they will turn to the few media outlets that they trust. So if you can get featured in USA Today or Time Magazine, like all of a sudden that's like an authority, a media, a known source of true information saying that you're a legitimate business. Wow, that's real social proof. Or a credible person. This is why celebrities and large-scale influencers are often very in demand for these kind of things. We have fewer sources of trusted information these days, and so there's a lot of pressure there's a lot of pressure on these outlets to provide social proof. So it's hard to get. If I'm pitching someone to a news source, there might be 1,000 other people pitching them the same day. So it's hard sometimes to break through. And you're dealing with sort of a touchy human phenomenon. People are very, very sophisticated at differentiating between what's real and what's not real in terms of social proof. And for example, for a lot of media outlets, you can buy what's called an advertorial. An advertorial is an article that you pay to place on the media site, and there'll be a little thing at the top that says advertorial or sponsored content or paid content. And most buyers are sophisticated enough to know if you paid for that article to be written, they shouldn't trust it as much as an article written by a real journalist. And that's really important to understand because, for one thing, you can save a lot of money if you realize that an advertorial won't help you. And this is also why, for example, press release distribution doesn't really get you social proof because you're paying to syndicate your press release out to media sites. So it can be less effective than actual press coverage. So without trying to be discouraging, what can you do about these challenges? Well, what I recommend in some cases is let's just hold off. Don't do it right now. Okay, let's not waste our time and money. Let's just wait. Maybe you need to build credibility outside the media, like build up your customer testimonials, build up your reputation in other ways, and then go for media. And then proceed rationally and methodically. What media are you sort of ready for at your stage of life? So, for example, a lot of the time, the best approach is to start with local media, media in your hometown. That's often easier to get at. Like if you're doing something interesting in Pittsburgh, then the Pittsburgh, newspaper might be interested in you. The New York Times won't be, right? See, there's a difference. And sometimes it's a matter of ego. People are like, oh, no, I want to be in the New York Times. Well, okay, maybe that's too big of a reach right now. But the local newspaper, the local radio station can help you get going and you can get some social proof. And what's interesting, in some cases, it's better. right? If the local paper talks about you or the local radio station has you on, that's where your customers might be. So who cares about national media? So it's just being realistic and being prepared is good. Anyway, those are some thoughts on social proof. It's a complicated topic. I'm happy to talk about it more with you if you want. There's a link in the description below if you want to set a time to meet with me. In the meantime, I invite you to read my book, Stop Being Invisible. Deals with some of these issues as well, on how to pitch the media, how to stop being invisible in your marketplace. And we can help. Come visit us at commsfactory.net. There's a special offer in the description below. Check it out. We'd love to work with you.